Hi, I'm Phyllis from iSew in the Doll Corner, and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm working on block number 21 of my sampler quilt. I'm making my blocks all out of scrap fabric, and it's been fun working on them. I think I'll make about 30 blocks. So I'm at 21 now. So hope you're following along. And if you don't want to make a sampler quilt, you might find one of the blocks that you really like and would like to make a whole quilt with it, or a combination of them. But this is the block. It's a double T. I don't know how it gets the T, but anyway, that's what the name, one of the names of it anyway. So it's made up of a 9 patch. It's got 4 plain squares in the corners and 1 in the center. And it has 4 sets of double geese. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways to make the double geese. And the last one is the most interesting one of them all. And it, once you learn how to do it, it's really easy. It's just 2 squares and there's no waste to it. So let's get started. The first method is 2 half square triangles and sew them together. Here's a half square triangle, and just join them like that. And that's a really simple, easy way of making flying geese. And I've showed you how to make the half square triangles. And then there's this method. I'm using 2.5 by 4.5 inch piece, and my little squares are 2.5 inch squares. And I draw a line down the center and I place it on like this and then stitch it. I stitch just past that little crease or my line, almost on it but not quite, and then that gives the fabric a place to turn over and come out exactly where you want it. So I have this one done. I've stitched this one down and folded it back. Now I have to cut this off, and you can cut it off with your rotary cutter or your scissors, whatever's the handiest. And this you can put in your scrap bin, but sometimes it goes to waste no matter, we get a lot of that kind of thing. And then I take this half square triangle and I line it up, or my square, and line it up here. And I stitch just on this side of the line, just barely, just almost touching the line, or touching, and then fold it back, and that's my flying geese. And then I put 2 together, of course. And then this is my last method I want to show you. I take a 5-inch square and a 5.5-inch square. And the larger square, I draw a line from corner to corner both ways. Now I have pinned this on. I line up the corners here and put a pin in it all the way down to this side and over to about an inch, maybe an inch and a half to here. And then you sew from this corner, right from this corner, right down to this corner. And that leaves you with a little pleat in here. And you turn it over the other way and you start sewing in this corner and you go right up to this corner. No, yeah, up to this corner and back to about an inch and a half before this side. And that leaves you a pleat in here of about a 1/4 of an inch. And that uses up that 1/2 inch. And then you take and you cut straight across here, right on this line. And then when you get it cut, you have a piece that looks, well, I cut this, so this is where your pleat is. So you've cut it across here, and then you take and you open this up like this, and you cut this. And you see you have this side completely sewn. So you fold that back and press it. You take this side and finish sewing this last inch, inch and a half, whatever you left. And you sew that. And that gives you your flying goose. Now I made these larger so it'd be a little easier to follow how I did it. And I need to square them up a little bit. There's just one problem with this. It's all on the bias. Now if you start your fabric before you start, you probably won't have any trouble. Or if you're used to working with bias fabric and careful how you press it, you shouldn't have any problem. But it is bias. It's all on the bias, and that's one of the disadvantages of it. But other than that, it's a slick way to make them. So I'll go over that again. You sew from one corner down here over to about an inch and a half. And then you start here and go down to about an inch and a half. And if you pin it, it makes, and then when you cut it across the pleat from corner to corner. And then that gives you a piece that this side is sewn, and this is bulged up here. This is where your pleat is. So you cut on this line and go up. So that gives you 2 flying geese. And then of course you finish sewing this over like this. So that's a fun way of making them. And And as I said, I made these a little larger so that you could maybe easier to follow me. So, oh yeah, I want to show you how I put my block together now. I have 2 squares, background color, and my flying geese block in the center. And I sew these on either side. My center block is 2 flying geese on either side and a plain block in the center. And you can bring this over like this. I've got my seams pressed out here, and I have my seams pressed in so they'll nest in here quite easily. So that, and then I add this 3rd row. So it's just the way you put a 9 patch together. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, touch the bell, give me a thumbs up, and check out my Etsy shop. Thanks for watching. Bye now.